wealth, yoga, wine. Welcome to my podcast. I'm Valerie Hale. Your still small voice is intuition. The only thing about a man that is a man is his mind. Everything else you'll find in a pig or a horse. This is actually a famous quote by Archibald MacLeish, sprouted many, many years ago. Therefore, use the generic term for us women to insert where man is. Intuition is one of our 6 innate superpowers, our higher faculties. Price Pritchett says this is our unseen forces, and he tells us to open our gifts with these 6 innate superpowers that we already have. We just simply need to exercise them so they become muscles. This is how we can all become part of the 1%, is learning how to activate our 6 innate gifts. Bob Proctor and Mary Morrissey both discuss this in their audio program, Into Your Genius. For the last 4 weeks, this is all the podcasts have been mentioning, so you can go back and listen to 4 of them. This is number 5 of the innate gifts. It's not a sixth sense. Your intuition is a voice that nudges you to take action, to do something different. Gay Hendricks says you started by asking a question. That's how you get your intuition involved. But your question is going to sound like this. I wonder how I can create more income in my life. I wonder how I can find the love of my life. Your intuition is that innate force that's going to create a whole nother world for yourself when you ask the question and you take action. Your intuition will kick in. Your intuition is our mind's ability to direct us to do what we are asking of the universe, of God, of spirit, of the infinite. It's our intuition. If we learn how to be quiet and listen to that still inner voice, your intuition becomes stronger. Bob Proctor mentions to us that there was a doctor back in 1934 from Texas who realized that your mind is made up of 2 facets, your conscious and your subconscious. And he created something that we can visually see called the stick figure. Bob Proctor has taken this whole concept of the stick figure, your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, and run with it for over 50 some odd years. That's why it's important to listen to Into Your Genius. Almost any program that Bob Proctor presents, he talks about the stick figure. The doctor from Texas discovered that the medical industry is only treating symptoms, meaning they're not treating the holistic approach to healing. That's where your subconscious mind and your conscious mind come into play, and that's why it's important to develop your 6 innate gifts. When you develop intuition, one of the easiest ways to start is through meditation, and I'm including a link in the podcast details on a program to help you begin studying meditation. Bob Proctor says, when you sit down and pray to the infinite, to God, to spirit, that's what prayer is. When God talks to us, that's intuition, or when the spirit talks to us. When the infinite talks to us, that's intuition. However, Bob says, many times the phone is off the hook, meaning it's busy and we're not picking up the signal. Kundalini Yoga is all about meditation. I'm including a link here for a new company I know of who's doing free meditations. When I was in therapy 30 years ago, which is how I discovered Kundalini Yoga, my therapist was adamant that I find a Kundalini Yoga teacher. She also taught me meditation. My sessions were not your typical session where you lie on a couch. I just sat in the chair and we learned how to create this wonderful person, Valerie Hale, together. She did teach me meditation, and she had me lay on her couch. And she would talk softly through it. She would play this beautiful music for about 5 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. I always fell asleep. She said, that's perfect. That means your body needs that 3 minute of going within and coming out. Meditation is difficult for most of us people because we run helter-skelter. Therefore, I've also included some really pretty yoga music. If you will sit still for 3 minutes, if you want to start with 1 minute, I get it, but try to work up to 3 minutes. Pretty soon you're going to work up to even longer if you really want to build your intuition. The idea behind meditation is truly to go within, I know this is woo-woo, and to calm yourself and let your mind do what you want it to do, not become the plaything of outside circumstances. So check out the link on the meditation is made. Lastly, wine. I spoke last week about the majesty of Bordeaux. I talked about the left bank, which is the Médoc. The right bank, for me, is actually more interesting because they do not have the 1855 classifications. Even though some of the most stunning wines, in my opinion, are from the right bank, as in the region of Pomerol and St Emillion, there's nothing from 1855. That's interesting to me. They never got over to the other side of the river, I guess. However, there are two really outstanding wines that most of you have heard about, of course. Chateau Petrus. It's 100% Merlot. It is not classified. It's vastly expensive. I think sometimes it goes for $1,000 a bottle. Yes, that's correct. It is a rare bottle because they produce very, very little. They have one of the world's most revered vintners. Then there is Cheval Blanc, which is also a little on the pricey side. Therefore, if you are stepping into the right bank without breaking the really money bank, check out what I love to do is look at LALANDE du Pomerol. That is a sub-region of Pomerol itself. SURGET is one of the best purchases from that area. Cotes de Casitillon is also a satellite of St Emillion. Both of those bottles you can easily find for under $20, even with inflation and whatever else is going on in the world. Those are two I suggest. Now, for me, the only thing I truly, truly love about Bordeaux is Entre deux Murs, between two seas. Those are the Bordeaux Blanc. For me, the best food pairing with the Bordeaux Blanc is guacamole. I was raised in Texas. Guacamole and Bordeaux Blanc. But you have to get an Entre deux Murs because it's a little bit of Semillon and Sauvignon Blanc. It is the most delicious food and wine pairing ever. Speaking of food in Bordeaux, there is a dish called Bordelais du Lamprey. When I first went over to Bordeaux with Fred Eck, who has passed away, he was up there in his years when I worked with him. He was teasing me as we went over the Dordogne, and he said, Valerie, one of the most famous dishes in Bordeaux is Bordelais du Lamprey. And I asked, qu'est-ce que c'est? It is truly, folks, eel in its own blood. And we went to one of the first chateaus. I want you to know they served Bordelais du Lamprey. Now, this is a small setting where I couldn't hide the fact that it was impossible to eat. Even the dog under the table wouldn't eat that eel. Yeah. So remember, it's important to develop your 6 innate gifts. Listen to my past podcast and you can get a snippet. Really, you want to listen to Into Your Genius. One of the things about these affiliate programs, you purchase it and it lasts the rest of your life. That means you can train your kids, your family, your friends, your colleagues on these programs that I always do a link to. You own them for life. And meditation is a good way to increase your intuition. I will put that in the Kundalini Yoga section. Lastly, wine. This is really the season for beautiful Bordeaux Blancs. They're not going to be nearly as pricey. There are some, of course, that can stretch your budget, but entre deux mots, make up some guacamole. Perfect, perfect, perfect. To wrap this up, I'm not a life coach. I'm not a consultant. I create this podcast every week to enhance people's lives globally. Merci. Au revoir.